No, good morning. You know how it goes, bro. Let's go. Who's ready for some boom, baby, boom? She didn't even see it. Rise and shine. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. Your host with the mostest, Marky Saint. And every morning I get up and I'm blessed to be alive. Even if I say good morning to two strangers and everybody hates their lives, I'm feeling optimal. And the reason I'm feeling optimal is because I've been doing my work, getting in my exercise, and still rising and shining. Even if the weather is changing, you just put a coat on, you put a smile on, and you find a way to find something to smile about. This would be my great Aunt Marlene. She would tell you, do something nice for somebody else today and find something to smile about. Great advice, life advice, and I'm grateful she was in my life for as long as she was, because it really transformed my life. I would have never got to travel this far. I would have never seen other seas. I would have never seen everything. And even smiling at people and waving at them, and they still have to have that grumpy face. You know, I'm almost about to turn the camera around for all the grumpy motherfuckers this morning. But, you know, to feel optimal, it's going to require smiling back at strangers. It's going to require getting out of your comfort zone. It's going to require a morning walk. It's going to require exercise, which I did yesterday and I can feel in my thighs. And also some work, some ikagi, you know what I'm saying? Something that we do with a purpose, you know, something that defines us and takes up that 8-hour block of our day where we're not shitting, showering, and shaving, or that we're not sleeping. And what do we got? If we only got eight sections, 3 sections of 8, it's really what I'm trying to say. You know, 8 to sleep, that's already 2/3 or a third of your day gone. And 8 to work, that's already 2/3. And the other 8 hours are usually filled with that piss, shit, and vinegar, as we used to say back in the day. But, you know, it's one of those things where ikagi, it helps you feel differently, you know? It gives you a chance to change the rhythm of your mind. And this is why I keep saying this every time, is because even on a cloudy day, which it's like right now, you know, you can still find a way to find something to smile about. You know, still throw on the coat and go get some exercise, you know what I mean? And find a way to pick up the trash, plastic pocket challenge, to be of help and of service in something anywhere in the world that you want to be. You can be the type of person in your head that you want to be. You don't have to be the person of dread. You don't have to be the person that gets up in the morning and goes, okay, here's the list of things. I remember, what's her name? Life with the Jenkins. And she would say that the whole time. She would be like, you know, oh shit, you know, I gotta get up. The kids are gonna be late for school and their homework's due. And what about their coat? And what about all these other things that we throw into our minds, and we make ourselves go insane. Good morning. And this is what ends up happening. You know, drop my trash, pick it up. Too cute. Dogs on shirts. On Instagram, we make dog shirts at the Pinacopa. Yo, have a good one. And then I'm happy, you know, I'm happy, even though it's gray and it's cloudy and it's cold. I'm already talking to my friends from Germany. They're calling me, they're leaving me 4-minute voicemails, and they're like, sorry, bro. And I'm like, never say sorry. Sorry, never sorry, bro. Explain to me how you feel. Send me the videos of you playing Frisbee, being out in the sunshine. And yes, it's getting cold in Europe. And yes, it's about time for Vietnam. But that's the whole point, you know? If everything was smooth, you wouldn't enjoy the process, right? If it was all predictable, like, yep, I'm going to show up, I'm going to find the love of my life, it wouldn't be any fun. You would need the excitement. And the excitement is mixing it up. Like me taking this journey, going this route, I'm basically doing my route but backwards. It entertains my brain. Or when I brush my teeth with my left hand and tell myself that I love myself at least 10 times. Well, I wish, but, you know, maybe 4 or 5 times. But, you know, I try to pump this thing up. Not try, I do. I pump the shit out of myself. Got a rock between my toes, you know. I pump the shit out of myself with all the optimal things so I feel optimal, right? So the push-ups yesterday, sitting there exercising the demons, stretching out my thighs. I still feel a little bit sore, kind of like I bruised myself here, you know, but join Weed Club. Yep, we're going to park and spark by the bridge. But, you know, just the fresh air. And my friends were like, it smells so much better in the morning. And I'm like, they're actually not lying, you know? And to see some of these beautiful last of the flowers before the petals change and the seasons change, we gotta change. And that's the thing I think that most people don't want to do. Change seems to be like a four-letter word, even though it's not. It's like five, right? CHANGE, six. And and to stick to a script, like we're like some kind of typecasted actor where only jobs you get is being the bad guy or the angry guy or the Asian guy or whatever typecasting. You had one hit and everybody's like, well, that's the way it's supposed to be, bro. That's the way you're supposed to be, and that's the only way you got it. There's no difference. And without that difference, the highs, the lows, the smiles, the frowns, we get very dull. We as human beings, we're very bored quickly, and we're very scared easily, and that makes us not as optimal as we can be. And that's why I'm having this conversation this morning, and I was just like, I feel so good. I wake up in the morning, had a crazy dream, told all my friends at the Prit shop, dude, I saw a little Russian girl that squirted with the bubble butt, and he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, bro, they told me this, and I was chasing the thing, and like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know, it was in my dream, I was so close, and everybody's laughing, and I was like, that's all that I want, brevity, my friends to be relaxed around me, and make them smile, and make them laugh, and bring something out of the monotony. I'm sitting here going like, okay, let's make our 20 calls a night. Let's give that extra hour, even though you're tired, even though your stomach's full, even though you want to just sleep, keep pushing. And then it becomes easy. And I'm like, shit, I could do this all day, bro. Like I could just sit here with an auto dialer on my phone and be like, yo, sell my shares. You know what I mean? And, it's those things that give me happy, It's the freedom to go walk when I need to, get outside, feel the fresh air. You already know. I love my life! Just, I don't have a boss. I'm my own boss. And that was the biggest thing for me, owning my own business and then turning into profitability so that I could travel the world. And even though I'm not making 10 grand a month like my original goal, I'm still here. I'm on this boat with you fine people, just like the Titanic. I'm arrived. And I think about my life and all the places that I've been and all the things that I've seen and this cool ass environment. This is a really nice home. To be able to have that fresh fall air, to be able to rise and shine, even though the fucking clouds are over time, it's still beautiful outside. And he's right. In the fall, it just, I don't know, it's fresher than the rest of it all. Like even during the summertime, it was nice, but now it's really fresh. Or so's that pee, somebody just peed or something, fucking dog walks. But the freshness of just being out in life and giving it the vividness of like, I enjoy my food more. I slept and chilled by the river for like 3 hours yesterday after the morning motivation. I just sitting there watching the clouds, and then of course it started to rain a little bit. And I just put on my glasses and let it rain on me a little bit. Let it rain on you a little bit, bro. Feel the freshness. And I was getting a little cold, a little wet, but guess what? The sun came out and it took care of it. It took care of me. It took care of my soul. And then I feel optimal. I feel like the blessing of my life is in my hands, and that I can do anything with my time. I can go anywhere I want to go, and all my dreams are coming true. And in a sec, IA is kicking ass and taking names. We're posting videos in a sec, site in a sec, social in a sec. It's all those things just happening. And I'm like, wow, while I'm sleeping, my team's working hard for me, and we're getting it done, and dogs on shirts and another dogs on shirts, and together, it makes it such a good feeling. And then he knows a homie down in Da Nang in Vietnam, and he's got a plug for us to get down to the thing. Look at these beautiful flowers. To find us a home that we can stay in. It's just all good, bro. Look at this beautiful view. I love coming here. I'm gonna park and spark with you, but man, it's some fresh air. Man, it's nice to be alive, and man, it's nice to just be able to get outside, exercise the demons, you know what I mean? Stretch it out, park and spark, come next to the water, get the calm that makes me feel like I'm one with the universe, you know what I'm saying? So beautiful. What's up, beautiful? Let's say it. Let's show them the view. Sup, beautiful. It's so amazing. And that's what it feels like. You're looking at my recipe for happiness, and to feel optimal, I need a little bit of exercise. That happened yesterday. So the work that I did before is now my fruit of my labors now. I sit under the tree that I planted to get shade, and then I feel so much better than before. Good morning. These crazy dogs. My God, they're so amazing. Yo, Dogs on shirts on Instagram. Make you a dog shirt. Yo, 2 dog shirts. Look how cute. Wow, man. And that's what life's about, smiling at strangers, having strangers smile back, that they appreciate life while they're having it instead of watching it go by and stressing about it. And I just feel so optimal that my business is growing, that we are this close to that $10,000 a month, fuck 25, 50 grand a month. That's what teamwork makes the dream work. And all the dreams that I had, all the websites, all the social media, it's all working. Videos are getting made with me in them while I'm sleeping. Get to fucking post them as well. Getting mad responses by reliable models. Wake up every morning and have about 2 or 3 different reliable models that want to wear my shirts worldwide. You already know, join Weed Club. Bless up. Go smoke this. And it's a magical life, bro. I distinctly remember, and this is the truth of it, being depressed, man. I distinctly remembered being so stressed, and I couldn't seem to stop it. I couldn't seem to stop the obsession of when the bills were due, or how much money I was making, or the stress I was feeling. And instead of doing something with that energy, get off me, fly, I would just let it sit inside me. I would let it destroy me. Then would come on the fast food. Then would come on the drugs. Then would come on the oversexing. And it's all just a way of distracting. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean. We all have a way to distract ourselves every day. Instead of being optimal and running men's workout tanks, what we'll do is we'll get comfortable, because that'll be the way to mitigate our stress level. That'll be the way that we handle the way our anxiety hits us. So like my buddy the other day, we were all chilling, everybody was cool, came to the park, and then he started talking to his ex-girlfriend, and then his face turned stone cold. They were arguing. He was like, I don't want to talk about this. He starts pounding the beers harder, and you're just like, man, that's not optimal. You're letting her get to you. And why are you answering the phone? We're all with friends. Why'd you answer the phone at all? Because she still has power over you. And this is what it is, People will always try to get exert power over somebody else but themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest one that you want to have power over, is yourself. Mastery of self is the only ikigai and purpose that we need in life, Finding a way to get ourselves out of our funk and into our own zone, this optimal zone. It's more than meets the eye, bro. It's something that comes inside of me where I'm like, I don't have to lie. I don't have to lie about my energy. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going live. I said, live over live, bro. What did I post this morning? Was it life over live? You got to really have a life that you love, that you scream to the sky, I love my life. I love my life, and that all these memories, and that I actually pulled the trigger to travel the world. It was one of the scariest things, but the best decision I ever made. And all my team is going to be in Vietnam for a couple months, and then we'll get to go back into Thailand. You know how much I love Thailand. Everybody knows that. You know what I'm saying? And it's it. I've arrived. And every other day that I get to be alive in my dream, just like the girl squirting, it all happens for me instead of against me. And this is a mentality. It's not just something that you can just say. It's something that I live. Good morning. And that's the blessing, just putting smile on strangers' faces, creating new designs. Even when we went to the park, homeboy was like, can I get some Satana designs? And I said, sure, of course. My dad loves Santana. I need 2 shirts. Next thing I know, I made 2 sales where I hooked all the other homies up. Now they got jealous, and they're like, I want shirts too. Not only do I want shirts, but I need 2. And I'm just like, yes, bro, that's 40 euros in my pocket. That's going to be food for the week. I can go grocery shopping. And I had a little bit of money thanks to my buddy sending some. Terry Prince, love you, bro. And I could go get my chips and cheese and crackers and eat, and exactly what I wanted to eat. And then I started to realize that it was always what I wanted to eat, and that's a gratitude for me, to sit there and go, I'm not starving. I get plenty of exercise. I get plenty of peace time. I was listening to my Neville Goddard for that 3 hours, and he was just talking about relaxing. That seems to be the biggest thing that people can't do, is they don't know how to relax, They don't know how to enjoy the passing of time. And that's what life is. It's the passing of time, the enjoyment, hopefully, of passing of time, or the dread. I think it's up to you how you use your minutes and how you use your moments. And most of us, we're too scared to do any of that. You know what I'm saying? Go get them, boys. Yes. Huva Poika. Keep going. Yes. Exercise, exercise. That's my guy. Exercise. Yes. And that was 3 strangers I made smile already this morning. And you can just imagine the smile I have inside my heart, inside my life, and I share it. That's why it's the morning motivation, is because I just so motivated to get to this level. And I thought it was a money level. I really did. I was like, or maybe it's a hot chick level. That if I have a hot chick in my life, then I can make all my friends jealous, or that I have a life to make people jealous. I don't want to make anyone jealous. My happiness isn't off of someone else's jealous. It's for me to live my life fully, and to feel my body and stretch my hips, and feel that fresh air, and be outside, and still have my dream, and still have my websites, and Print an Hour, Saints Addiction, Saints Brand. They're all renewed, and we're gonna go sit and touch laptops and make those even better, fix all the loopholes, and fill the gaps. But it's just the existence now. I'm so grateful to be alive. It's not even fucking funny. So it's this optimal feeling that I have, and I wanted to share it this morning, and how I got there, and getting outside is part of it. Getting that morning D in, you know what I'm saying? And getting that vitamin D on my skin, and filling my breath, and filling my lungs with fresh air. It's a blessing. So I can feel my abs. I did a little bit of abs work yesterday. I stretched out my legs, and now my body's reinforcing me, like, what workout we're gonna do today. And went back to the shop, and my friend had got the Chinese food that I was craving. So today he's gonna double down and get Chinese food again, so I can have the noodles that I want. And it's just like, how can you not be happy when you get what you want? But it's our unwanting of changing that's interfering with what we're wanting, right? So it's like, sure, you got want in one head and shit in the other, it's like we used to say in the South. But everybody wants the prize, but not everybody wants to pay the price. Nobody wants to do the long hours the night before, but it reinforces me to go, yeah, I did some work, and because of that, I could sleep tight. It's like my buddy Yoni singing his daughter to sleep at night. It just gives us that extra energy to go, this is a full day, that she's alive and she's safe and she's in the bed. That's what a father wants. He works his ass off only to go make a meal for all his friends. Good morning. And make them happy, and then his family's around them eating, and that's what gives him his happiness. So he's got to get up early in the morning, and he's got to work hard, long hours, but at the end of the day, he gets to make meals with his family, eat together, and be together and sing together. That's a happy man. And instead of my friend who's like trying to pound down the beers, and every day it starts working less and less, he's not happy, he's stressed, and then he can't get over it. I'm glad he went to the gym yesterday, but he didn't call me, you know what I mean? That's all it is, bro. A calling. Your visions are calling you. They're asking you to make your dreams into reality, and that's all I'm talking about. So let's bring that girl, the hottie little petite shorty squirter, Russian girl that I was in my dreams for some reason, let's bring her into reality, and let's bring more models into wearing my designs, and let's make my life as happy as I could be. And I started to think, I'm like, what interrupts this? And it's like, usually my perspective, usually it's the mind trip that I go into my head, and I'll start thinking of dread, dead babies, and lost love, or a lack of a relationship with my siblings. And then I think it's like I still went out and lived my life, bro. I still went out here and did something with my days. I didn't just say, man, this guy's jumping, he's making the whole thing bounce. I don't know if you guys can see it bouncing, but that dude jogging is making this whole bridge bounce. That's what I'm talking about, making the bridge bounce, you know what I'm saying? Making this whole life smile back at me, and it's just great gratitude all the way around. Every time I need some food, it happens. Every time I need a little bit of money, it happens. I got my first sale, and it has been a couple months because my phone was off. Sure, it was only $40, but guess what? Then all of a sudden the phone rang. Someone called from Florida. Then my teammate emailed me, and then I was on the webinar. And when I was on the webinar, they mentioned me. They're like, is this Mark? I'm like, hell yeah. I was on the webinar waiting for the whole thing. Even he knows how beautiful it is. And the one guy, he said, okay, we're going to open up for a Q&A. Anybody got questions? The one guy's, hey, you guys started doing AI yet? And I'm like, that's what we do. Holler at us, Intersect.ai, voice AI agents in seconds, baby, voice in a sec. Let's go. You can get a fucking Aura automated user response agent to answer the phone call. And they were like, what? And yeah, they're not even doing it themselves over at 800.com. So we get all the referrals. What a blessing. What a blessing. Is this bark? Sure is. Is this spark? Sure is. Is this join We Club? You damn right. And this is Saints addiction. To be addicted to my travel and being outside and being in these healthy environments, to surround myself with all this beautiful air and trees, you know what I'm saying? And not in China, and I'm not in India, and I'm not in the Middle East or South Africa. We were talking about this, and my buddy was like, yeah, man, when you get off the plane, it just smacks you with all the nasty, you know what I mean? And I don't want to smell any of that, you know? And then he's talking about fucking his wife in the other room because it's such a small house that everybody can hear them fucking, but it's natural. And I was just like, yeah, what an interesting way to be, you know? Everybody in the West, we're trying to hide our sexuality. We're one of the least affectionate countries in the world, but in America, but everyone else in the world knows it's time to make love and to make babies and to make a life that you can love to live and be a part of. And that's what it's all about. Design, life by design. That's why I call it Designs by Saints. You know, you got to design your life. And that's all I did. I just sat there and said, what would make me the happiest? You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, let's stretch out these hamstrings. Oh baby, yeah, let's stretch them out. Saint slides, baby, Saint slides, and feel this stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to get off this life because then I can really get into my skin and stretch and be inside my mind and just close my eyes and feel the raindrops hit my skin and feel alive, that I am a human creature that gets to do all these amazing things, and only because I put my mind to it, and not just my mind, good morning, but also to put my life on the line. You know what I mean? I sold the car, I sold the career, I sold the condo, and I started to travel, and now everybody's like, when are you coming back? And I'm like, never. You know, I'm on to the next, and after Vietnam it'll be Thailand, and then I'll come back, and then I'll do a bunch of photo shoots, and then I'll do a bunch of models, and then I'll have my designs all over them and have plenty of faceless porn and all the dreams come true. Everything that I ever wished, from motivated juice to anti-slip slippers, even a faceless porn, it's all happening. And nobody believed in it at first. They're like, what are you talking about? And then now I got my team managing OnlyFans accounts, and any way to stay creative. If it's an idea, I put some energy behind it, and then I see if it has some sustainability. You know what I mean? I want to sustain this happiness, and the only way to do that is to eat correct, have a good diet of the mind. You know, eat nutritious foods, and get up and exercise and exercise my demons, baby. Don't just let them live up inside me, inside my body and inside my mind, but actually do the exercise and push them outside of me, exert myself a little bit, so that way I'm not stressed. And then all of a sudden I'm not stressed, you know? I mean, my anxiety goes all the way down after exercise, or going outside, or doing some work that I can thank my future self for, because it's like, yeah, dude, I did my calls yesterday, day before yesterday, and the day before yesterday, 20 calls each. If you do all 5 days, Monday through Friday, that's 100 calls a week, and eventually you call everybody. And sure, so there are going to be some people that be like, I can't have this conversation right now. I'm not interested. Click, you know, but they're not happy neither. You know what I mean? They had a chance to plug in with somebody that was happy, that was doing something, living something with their lives. You thought it was just about a sales call. You could have met another human being. But no, we want to just stay in our own way and go into other people's lanes and forget that we're supposed to be feeling our lives and feeling our bodies and feeling our minds, instead of living the lies, good morning, and being so pessimistic or so frowny. Like, who wants to be around that energy? Nobody. So I'm not signing up for it. I'm signing up for the outside club. You know what I'm saying? I'm signing up for the stretch club. You know what I'm saying? I'm signing up for the nutritious club. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the guy. I am the guy. You know, that's the cool part now. I am the guy that beautiful girls stop me and go, "Are you a celebrity? Are you the celebrity?" And it's not. It's happened to me more than one times. Or when I talking to my friends and go, "Is this what you were doing when you were doing that weed magazine?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, you remember that?" He's like, "I do." And I'm like, "Oh my god, shit, I even forget." You know what I mean? People know about it, so it's the same as like going to jail and the head of the Crips was like, "I recognize you." I mean, you know what I mean? I'm like, "Cool," you know what I mean? Like I'm a little bit more safe now because I started a weed magazine in Vegas. I don't have the 6'6" black Crip leader punking me, although he did try once. But you know what I mean? You still got to stand your ground. It's very frustrating to want to start a business and then now you're in jail. Good morning. You know, now I'm in jail for starting a business. The lady's looking at me like I've never even seen this charge. I'm so used to homelessness or domestic violence or DUIs, and you're over here trying at your life, trying to start a business. You didn't even have a cash register, and the place was under construction, but they still found a way to give you $1,000 ticket, but it got dismissed, baby. And so did the mushrooms and the marijuana. That got dismissed too. Charges dismissed, you know? Dismiss those charges, baby. Dismiss that anxiety. Dismiss those things that make us feel less adequate inside and start looking at our lives and go, okay, what do I appreciate? What am I grateful for? You know, and what do I want to develop? And that's ikagi. You know what I mean? The process of developing our lives and developing our bodies and developing our souls is a process. You're gonna have to spend time on that. And I did yesterday for like good 3 hours by the river by myself, just listening to my Neville Goddard, super chilling and relaxing, you know what I mean? And that's all that it takes in life. You're gonna have to have an ability to relax yourself and let life unfold and use more of your time on imagination instead of frustration and let it all sink in instead of just sinking into the funk, you know, or just being a prisoner in our own bodies. It's really just like that, you know. You can prevent forest fires, you know. Only you can prevent the fire in your mind or to start it, you know, to start the spark and get it ignited and find a spark from it and be like, yes, this is a full day. I fed my kids. I exercised. I did the work that I wanted to do. I pushed my passions and I pushed myself, and now my body feels good and my mind feels good and my attitude feels good. Then I feel good, you know. Then I'm okay with whatever happens today. I'm okay with a full day and getting up early and late nights, early mornings, and working the dream. My little feet working the machine. So will it spin? Will it soar? You know what I mean? Like you got to make yourself soar. You got to have to make yourself ride over dies. That's what I also want. Another one of the shirts that I made for Mostly Saints. You got to make yourself ride, bro. You got to take yourself and take yourself for a walk. Take that mind for a jog. Exercise those demons. Make sure that you make yourself feel complete. You know, and not looking at from an external standpoint, but from a peace standpoint. That I am peaceful inside enough not to start a fire in my mind, but to ignite my soul. And that's where we're all about, you know, making ourselves smile from inside out, not from wait outside in, and then instead of the inside out, you know, because we're always looking for somebody else to come fix our problems, some other substances or some kind of degenerative activity, or maybe it's a repetitive activity. Only you can stop that shit from happening, and then give yourself a new opportunity to be able to say, hey, you know, maybe today I do go touch the gym, or do or sit next to nature, or I allow the thoughts to have enough concentration and meditation and focus that I can do something with my mind instead of against my mind. So you can play ping pong with yourself all day long, going like, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and that feels bad, and that feels bad, and that feels bad, you know. Or you can just put the paddle down, stop playing ping pong in your head, and go, I am alive. That's a blessing. I am healthy. That's a blessing. And I am wise. That's a blessing. And so be able to use my mind in not in spite of myself, but in favor of myself. That has been so tremendous for me. That's definitely Saint's addiction, to turn negatives into positives, to be able to take the obsession and turn it into working, and then to stop the what's it called, rumination, and going over all the bad plays in my head, and let that train move and leave the station and go to somewhere else where I can feel good inside, and grateful for my time and my body and my mind. So this is it, mind, body, and soul, or body, mind, and soul, it should say, because it's got to start in the mind first. Then you tell the body what to do, and then the soul will echo it. And that is the steps that took me to beat depression, to beat addiction, and to beat frustration of my life. It's changed my life completely, and I'm so grateful for it. So good morning. It's one of those things where everybody gets a chance to make a stranger smile every day. Do something nice for somebody today, and find something to smile about, like my grand aunt Marlene would say. So peace and love. And as always, Chigaton. That means goodbye, but not forever here in Phoenix. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. You know, the other side of your fears. Ugh. The other side of my merchandise. Join Weed Club, baby. And the other side of the world, baby, because that's where I'll be. Yep. In my peace. What a blessing. Oh, yeah. That's right.